I'm Irene with girltalksfish, here to celebrate 100,000 subscribers with you guys. Thank you so much. When I pinged you on the community post asking how we should celebrate, a good portion of you said I should buy a mermaid costume to celebrate, while a lot of you asked for a traditional Q&A video. So we're gonna do both. Mr. Gamer actually purchased a mermaid costume for me that is family friendly, but he is not here right now, so you gotta wait till the end of the video. Me and the kids are gonna run a bunch of errands. I'm gonna answer all the questions first, and at the very end, I will open up the silver play button wearing the costume. Now, if you're just here for that, go ahead and skip to the end, but if you are a true hardcore fan, I highly recommend you listen to all the questions first, get to know me a little better, and don't sneak a peek. So LK wants to know what would be some nanofish that I'm not interested in keeping, and that would be, I would say, annual killifish that are small, any brackish nanofish, as well as probably any nanofish I've already kept before, such as celestial pearl danias, green neon tetras, that kind of thing. I'm always looking out for something new that I haven't tried before. Another question from LK is, would I ever do another aquarium with fake decorations and no live aquarium plants? And the answer is yes. If it was easier for me to clean the tank, or the fish just are the type that like to beat up on them, I absolutely would. It's easier in a lot of ways just because I can just keep off the aquarium lights and not have to deal with algae at all. But I would definitely probably add something like pothos or something, just so I can get some of the benefits of the biological filtration from them. And final question from LK is, would my next betta fish have long fins or be a placotte? And definitely a placotte. I am tired of dealing with tail biting. Rallo wants to know about my most and least favorite aquarium plants, and I would say most favorite would be dwarf aquarium lilies because they have that rare red color and they can really grow leaves at all different levels, becoming that centerpiece plant for your aquarium. Versus least favorite would be marrow mossballs because, at least in my aquarium, even though I was constantly rolling it, they just kept giving these algae-like cladophora strands off of it, so I really didn't like that. Clay wants to know what are the easiest fish and my favorite fish that I've ever kept. And I would say easiest is probably still betta fish. They don't really need a lot, and I feel like you get a lot of bang for your buck. My current favorite type of fish would be my dwarf red platies. That red color is so brilliant against a green planted tank. I love how, I guess they're peaceful, but they're still very spirited. And of course they make lots and lots of babies, which is always really exciting to see. BH says, you have a really great screen presence. Oh, thank you. Wants to know if I did well in my communications classes in college. I actually only took engineering related classes in college and stuff supporting that, but my parents did sign me up for Toastmasters back when I was in high school, so that helped me with my public speaking. Katya had a similar question, which was, did I have any experience making videos before YouTube? Like, was I in theater or anything? And the answer is no, actually. I was in marching band instead of drama, and I actually just, one Christmas I decided to ask my husband to get me video editing software because I thought it'd be a cool hobby to pick up, and started posting videos on YouTube, and that was that. Jinx wants to know if I've ever been recognized in public before, and I would say only maybe if it's a local fish store or my local fish club, then people will come up and say hi to me or maybe ask to take a selfie. Prajeet actually had the opposite question, which is, have I myself ever been starstruck before? And absolutely, my first aqua show I ever went to, I got to meet Corey and Jimmy from Aquarium Co-op for the first time, and I was totally awkward. I'm not even sure why they decided to hire me afterwards because, yeah, I probably didn't give off the best first impression. So I was like... And then Jason must be a longtime viewer because he asked me if I ever miss wearing my sunglasses. And yes, back when my channel was called A Gamer's Wife, I used to wear sunglasses kind of more of a privacy kind of thing. But nowadays, I hate wearing eye makeup. I actually have contacts on, and so my eyes can kind of get irritated from it. All right, let's talk about our next category, the fish keeping hobby. Concon Rocks wants to know how in the world I can stay so patient when you have to wait for so many things in this hobby. Things like, cycling your aquarium or aquarium plants, that kind of thing. And I would say, this is probably not relatable to most of you, but it was like being pregnant the first time versus the second time. Like the first time around, everything's so new and you're recording what size fruit your baby is, and the pregnancy seems to last forever while you're waiting for your first child, versus the second time around, you're like, I already know what's gonna happen, I didn't keep track of any fruits at all, and I was busy chasing a toddler as well, so time seemed to pass a lot faster, and I feel like that's the same way with aquariums. My first aquarium, everything took so long, versus a few aquariums afterwards, I was like, you know what? it's worth waiting for quarantine for sure. Lots of mistakes can be vetted out if you are patient. SN wants to know, are there ever times in the fish keeping hobby where I just want to quit? And I would say absolutely yes. In fact, recently I went through an 8-week YouTube course, and then there was construction on my house, and then now I'm helping to lead a Bible study. And so whenever things in my life get really, really busy, I tend to not think about my fish as much, and I don't take the time to enjoy my aquariums. I'm just like, feed them, clean them if absolutely necessary, but just kind of low maintenance until I have the time for the hobby to pick up again for me. Sweet Flyboy wants to know, how many close friends or family members have I gotten in the hobby? And I'm ashamed to say not many. Like my best friend, I'm about to help her set up her first betta tank the real way. And then my mom, I actually got her interested in floating plants. She saw my, I think it was the Red Root Floaters video, and got really, really interested in them. She's always been into like orchids and African violets and growing plants. So she didn't want any fish, but I kind of led her through the way of how to keep floating plants, and she was very successful in them. She's like, what do you do with everything when you outgrow the bowls? Jake's Aquatic World wants to know what was my proudest moment in the hobby, and I would say hands down when I finally balanced that 20-gallon back to basics planted tank. That was the best feeling ever, and I hope you guys are one day successful in that as well. And then Genovivo wants to know, what is my dream tank that I have yet to build? And I would say definitely something larger. I would love to, I know this channel is all about nanofish, but I would love to someday keep something like severums or fancy goldfish or a dojo loach or maybe even clown loaches. But that would have to be huge, and I'm not sure where we would put that. So one can dream. And then we get to the miscellaneous category. So Gab has obviously listened to my interview on the Aquarius podcast. Thank you, Gab. And they wanted to know, what kind of pet would I not keep despite it being legal? I don't think I'm a parrot kind of person. They just live way too long, very high maintenance. Insects, you know, I grew up in Houston and I've been around creepy crawlies a lot. I just don't like them, so I probably wouldn't keep those either. Really anything that's exotic, hard to find a vet for, hard to take care of, takes a lot of time, I'm probably not interested in. Jason remembers that I was in a book club and wants to know what my favorite book genres are, as well as my all-time favorite book. And that's really hard to pick because, I don't know, I've just gone through lots of phases of genres all throughout my life. Like I used to like biographies, horror, crime heists, and now I'm in a sci-fi fantasy kind of phase. And I would say no all-time favorite book, but out of all the books my book club has read in the past year, probably my favorites were The Nightingale and Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. So check them out. Essen had a similar question, which is what is my all-time favorite movie? And again, my tastes are constantly changing, but probably some movies that I've watched over and over again include Spirited Away, Inception, and Thor Ragnarok. That one makes me laugh a lot. Argenis asked me, are you a believer? And yes, I am. Probably the shortest version of that story is when I was 6, I was suffering from a lot of night terrors, and it was kind of the first time I ever realized, like, wow, there are things in this world that my parents cannot control or help me with. And so I asked Jesus to save me, and they went away. Simple as that. And finally, we have our last question from Zafra, who wants to know, how would I be different if I hadn't joined the hobby? And I would say, you know, realistically, I probably would have picked up a different hobby, just because I'm one of those people who constantly likes to pick up new things, learn new things, you know, try different kinds of stuff. But maybe the flip side of that question is, how has the fish keeping hobby changed me? And I would definitely say I've gained lots and lots of patience. I've learned how to research things, but also test them for myself, especially, you know, when there's a lot of controversy around it. And then I've learned not to talk to my friends about fish, ever. So, you know, basic life skills like that. Hi, here's what you've all been waiting for, the mermaid costume! Thanks to Mr. Gamer for picking out this wonderful mask for me. And yes, I do have the YouTube play button, so let's go ahead and open that. And I can only see out of the mouth, so hopefully I won't cut myself. Ooh! Okay. Go. There is a long letter, which I am not going to read. Basically says, congratulations on the milestone. Thank you, Susan, CEO of YouTube. She's congratulating on hard work, the YouTube journey, amazing milestone. But what we really care about is this hunk of metal, or whatever it's made out of. Ta-da! Oh my goodness, it's so shiny! Oh, it's probably showing like the rest of my house. Wow, this is so cool. It says, I can barely read it. Presented to Girl Talks Fish for passing 100K subscribers. I can't believe I finally got to open it. Thank you so much, everyone. Whether you've been with me since the beginning, when I was a gamer's wife, all the way to as recent as last week. Love having all of you in the Girl Talks Fish family, and I hope I continue to make many, many cool videos for you guys in the future. So take time to enjoy your aquariums, and I'll see you in the next video.
Okay, you ready?
Okay. No more.
Hey. You've got that mascot thing going. You're laughing hysterically, and all I can see is a fish going like this.